One of the things I've noticed about this channel is that plenty of you really enjoy the tips and tricks that come with Google My Business. And over the last year or so, I put many of these tips and tricks together and they've become some of the most popular videos. But it's evident from some of your comments that not all of you have seen all those tips and tricks. And I've got a few new ones I wanted to share with you too. So today's 101 Google My Business tips and tricks that are going to help improve your local business, your local SEO, and ultimately get more customers and clients to your door. So how do these tips and tricks work and what can you do? Well, first of all, rather than just telling you you can do this and you can do that, I show you how to do that. And the other thing that's useful about these tips and tricks is that your competitors, if they don't know about these things, then they may be focusing on the wrong things. Maybe their focus is all about getting the ratings or the reviews, and they're missing the point. In fact, that's just one very minor part of how you can rank further up in Google My Business. In fact, Google's much more interested in having a complete package of your business as opposed to focusing on one or two things. The nice thing with Google My Business too is that it doesn't cost anything. It's free. So you can follow this video, you can watch it to the end, you can follow all the tips, 101 tips I've given you, apply those to your business, and it's cost you nothing other than the time spent on these videos with me today. So before I start tip number 1 for you, I just want to know why then 101 tips? Well, the reason is that I don't think all of you have seen these particular tips. I wrote down a couple there to look out for. Do you know, for example, how to get a free 360-degree video? Well, that's going to be mentioned in today's video tips. Also, do you know how to avoid spammy titles? Do you know how to get a free marketing kit or a free marketing video for free from Google? Well, I'll show you that as well. And also I've noticed there's several tools I've been using that will give you free customers or more improved customers. And these tools actually I don't often mention now because I assume that everyone knows about them, but actually they're mentioned in some of these video tips too. And also, do you know how to properly brand your business on Google My Business so that people can't ignore the branding? Well, I've got some nice tips that show you how to do that too. So I'd consider this the best video I've ever made if you're prepared to follow the 101 tips that are about to follow. So let's jump in and I'll show you tip number 1.
The first great tip is to just type in your business into Google, and as you'll know then your knowledge panel comes up. But here's a couple of the little things that have been added in the last few months. You'll notice you can get stats now straight away. So because I'm already logged into Google My Business from a previous entry, I can now see my views are up. So I can see the views this month, 21,000. I can get statistics here as well, the number of clicks, the impressions, average position, see ways to improve it. So that will give me some information from Google as to how I can improve my keywords and being found. And also you just notice here, if you just want to do some quick edits, you can click on here and you can just add photos, you can add your hours, make changes there about your business information. You can also add adverts, updates, offers. So in the past you used to have to log into Google My Business and then go through the whole rigmarole of finding a password, but Google's made it a lot easier now. You can even look at your reviews, answer your messages and so on. So just take advantage of the fact that there's a lot more information now available just within Google. If you're logged in and it's done through your Google account, then it'll pick that up. So that's a really useful little tip. And you may notice also that there's a timeline that's being picked of when you visited the business. So in this case, I'm visiting my business. It's registered these things. You can check your hours here. There's a lot more kind of information if you start opening it up. And also what is interesting is you'll get sometimes little extra things like want to go. So that's because it's recorded in my Google Maps. And some other information as well, visible only to you. So not everyone's going to see this, but you can just add a post within here as well. Now my next tip is quite useful because if ever you want to give directions to someone, don't give them your address, give them the directions button here, or do it from within your Google My Business. You can share it as well. It's a Google Map direction. There's a good reason for that. So if someone goes to a direction, what I'll do, I'll show you what I mean. So I looked at Turtle Bay a moment ago. So that's already recorded for me. But let's go to a restaurant I've not looked at. So Bistro on the Beach. So someone sent me this information. I've registered it with Google, the fact I've just looked for it on the map. That's all I've done, is just clicked on that for the first time, Bistro on the Beach. Now I'm going to show you how that has an impact on Google Calendars. So I'm going to go into my Google Calendar, and here's my calendar. Now, what most people haven't seen is there's a little add-on now in Google Calendars called Maps. If I click that, you'll notice it's picked up my recent search of Turtle Bay. In fact, if I refresh this, you now notice it's got Bistro on the Beach as well. So it's picking up, if you look for anything on Google Maps now, you can then see your history here. And I can now click on that, and it will pull up a bit more information about Bistro on the Beach. There's directions, it tells me when they're open and so on, when I last visited it, and so on, popular times. Now, why is that useful? Well, the fact is you can now send it to your phone. I can say that's my calendar. If I click on there as well and edit it, I can also go for things like add a location. And you notice there it comes up now because I've already gone there. If I click on that, and I can then even see preview it in Maps as well. So why is that useful? Well, when this eventually comes along on the 27th or whenever it is, I can then click on that, and if say I'm on my mobile, I can then access it and get directions directly through Google Maps. So there's an integration going on here between the businesses on Google My Business that show on Google Maps and the calendar as well. But that only exists when you've sent someone the directions in the first place. And so that goes back to the fact that if I log into my Google My Business, let me just do that. So when you're in Google My Business, if you just come down to this section here, you can view it on Maps, but actually you can share it. So you click on share it, and that then there, send it through on Facebook, WhatsApp or Twitter. But that link there is a direction to your business. So let me just show you how that works. If I copy and paste that, it'll basically just open the business up in Google Maps. And there they've got the directions. They can find where you are. They can come and visit you. You've basically given them the ability now to go to their Google Calendar, and they can then find it because it'll be there. So if I go to click on this again, and it will then list here as a previous place they visited. So nice little tip there. So for the next 99 tips, I've put this playlist together that I just want you to head over to now, and I'll show you how to get there. And basically what happens is you'll then see these videos that have got loads and loads of tips that most people haven't come across. And once you've then gone through one of these tip videos, you just go on to the next one and the next one and so on. So the features here, then you've got the other ones. So you may have seen the more recent ones, the 13 Google My Business, but in fact, if you followed all these tips, you'll have 99 tips to follow. Well, along with the 2 I've just given, gives you 101 tips. And if you follow those, I can't see for one moment your competitor matching you in those areas. So now for tip number 3, through to 101, head over to this video and I'll see you there.